PGA number 133513. I'm here to do an in the bag video, but before I get started with that, I'd like to let you all know of a women's tournament I am running this November. It'll be November 12th and 13th, B tier, 2 rounds at Hidden Hollow Disc Golf Course in Dover, PA, and 1 round at Klein's Run in York. There are still plenty of spots open, looking to get more players, sponsors, whatever we can. Sponsors, depending on what tier, will get their logo on coverage, and we really just want to empower women, get them more involved in the sport, so anything any of you can do to help is greatly appreciated. I have been using this bag for quite some time now. It's the Paratrooper from Dynamic Discs. I got this when I played Junior Worlds in 2021, and I've used it ever since. I really like how it is, but sometimes I overstuff it with discs. So, as far as like anything else I have in my bag, I have a lot of these pins. My dad and I went to USDGC last year to spectate, so one of our favorite things was opening mystery pin bags, so I got a lot from that, and just some other ones in general. One from my sponsor, Central PA Disc Golf, and some from pros and other things that I think look cool. And then I got some on that side too. So yeah. Another thing I have on my bag, not necessarily disc wise, is a Parasafe dry bag. This is my favorite to use to dry my hands, although I don't dry my hands too often. I believe these are made by Zachary Woods. He made these cool Halloween ones last year for the Nathan Longnecker Classic. Without any further ado, I will get into some putters. So basically, ever since I started playing disc golf seriously, I've been putting with 0 hard daggers. So I currently bagged 2 of them. This white one here is a little bit less stable, so I like that sometimes more when I'm putting, but mainly I just putt with whichever one feels good in my hand. If I need something a little bit more stable, I'll use the blue one, but I've really been liking these for a while. Fun fact is I absolutely hate the feeling of flippy putters, so I chose to stick with that 0 hard plastic. Feels nice and firm in my hand. Something else I have been playing around with, and that's why it's in the bag, is a Focus from Discraft. I picked this up at Play It Again Sports, and I've been going back and forth between this and the dagger, seeing what I like better. It's definitely a change. The rim's different, not as, I don't know, flat on the edge, but been liking it. Still thinking I'm sticking with the daggers as of right now, but could possibly make a change. I believe I only have one more putter, which I only use for approaches, as most people do, and that is the Zone. I got this in the 2020 Women's Open of Maryland. I got it for a CTP, and I have loved it ever since. It's super duper reliable. I use it for basically any approach shot, wide open. It's great for in the woods. I can really rely on that hard fade, and it's super pretty as well. So that's it for my putters. And then I believe I only carry 2 other mid-ranges other than that. I like to keep my approach game very, very simple. It's I've just found something that works, and ever since then I've just stuck to that, and it's really solid. So it would take a lot. It would take a special disc to take one of my approach discs out or put something else in. So I mainly approach with the Zone, but I also have this Buzz. My dad and I were into disc dyeing. We haven't done it as much recently, but that's one that he dyed when we were still into it. I believe it's the TI plastic, titanium, whatever you want to call it, but really like it. Nice, reliable for longer, straighter approaches, and yeah, one of my staples. Last one, I have thrown some of my best shots with this disc here, and that is my Soul from Discraft as well. I like this for more Anheuser approaches, turnover shots that I need, and yeah, it's been super reliable, super glidey for me. Can throw it straight if I need to, but mostly it gives me that turnover angle I need. And that's it for my approaches. I like to use zone, soul, buzz, very stable, or I don't know, very strong, I would say. I tend to stick with just those 3 discs for all of that, and I feel very confident with them. Oh! Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you to Phoenix Discs for getting us these super sick trophies for North Scotch Championship and Disc Golf Open of PA. Wanted to also break up my in the bag a little bit because I know it can be a little boring just hearing me talk about discs the whole time. So wanted to show off these super cool trophies. So huge thank you to them. Hope to have my name on these one day. And yeah, back to my in the bag. Into the exciting stuff, all of the drivers. I bag lots of different molds. I don't think, as far as driver goes, there's any of the 2 same mold in here. So I'm not sure exactly what to classify as fairway driver and what is distance driver, so I'm just gonna go through how I have them in my bag. And yes, I do keep my discs in a certain order in my bag. I know it's weird, but they have to be in that same order when I put them back or it bugs me. So the first disc I have here is a really light 150 beat up Star Destroyer. This, I haven't been throwing it as much recently, but I played Junior Worlds earlier this year and I lost my max distance driver. So I've been playing around with a few different things, trying to find something to replicate that and give me that same confidence and distance that I had with that. So this has been one of those discs that definitely I can get lots of distance with. It is understable because it's beat ups, but I still like to put a little bit of anhyzer on it, get that nice S-curve flex out of it, and it'll go far. Next disc I have here is a Streamline Trace. This, I'm gonna be honest, it got into my bag because it looked really pretty, and that was about the only reason. But for a while I used to throw this on hole 4 at Bookmiller, but I've kind of transitioned away from it. But I still like it for more of those longer distance shots where I need something to fade. And it looks really pretty and I like the stamp a lot, so there's not too much to say about that one. Next we have my Ledgestone 2021 edition Z Swirl Mantis. I absolutely love this disc. It's one of my favorite discs. I like it for nice, more straighter flex shots that don't differentiate as much right to left, or I love throwing it on a slight turnover on hole 5 at Book and just watching it glide down that fairway. Gets me pretty close to the pin on a turnover, which is kind of surprising, but I love this thing. It's my favorite color, purple. It's got a 6 stamp, and can also get me quite a lot of distance just going straight with that nice reliable flight path. This disc was my backup. It's a Surge SS. It was my backup for my favorite Surge SS that I unfortunately lost, but this one flies pretty similar. I like to put on a big anhyzer, still comes back. Doesn't get quite as much distance as the old one used to. It's not quite beat up as much, so I need to still whack it against a few trees a few times. But overall, still gets good enough distance, but isn't used as much as the old one was. Now, this disc is another one of my favorites. I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but I definitely rely on the Passion a lot. This was one of the first Passions to come out, I believe. My dad got this for me at Am Worlds. It does glow, which is super nice, and it's still that faint purple, my favorite color. Definitely seen some trees and all that, but really it just gives me that nice, it goes straight, glides forever, and has a little bit of fade at the end, just enough as to where I like the amount of fade, but it's not too much, but not too little either. But I like this. Straight shots need a little bit of fade, but overall one of my favorite discs. Now we get into a disc I've been using more recently, which is a Innova Champion Thunderbird. This one doesn't have a fancy stamp or anything like that, just plain stock stamp. I love the royal blue color. It's very, very pretty to me, but this I've just started using more recently. I've been throwing it on a little bit of hyzer, or when I really need something more overstable to fade lots. And because it is Champion plastic, it does fade a lot for me. But in these woods that I've been playing at recently, it's definitely very needed, and I've been relying on it a lot recently. Another disc I rely pretty heavily on for the opposite shot shape is my Discraft Sting. I got this in a pinch right before I left for Women's USDGC. My sponsor, Central PA Disc Golf, came in clutch with getting this to me. I had previously lost my other one. He even drove it to my house and hand delivered it, so huge thank you to him for not only the disc but also supporting me throughout the season. They have a website, I believe, centralpadiscgolf.com, or they also have a store in Hanover where you can get discs and everything you might need for all of disc golf. But I like this one because it's bright pink, easy to find in the woods. It was a little bit more stable when I first got it than I would have wanted, but over time I've thrown it a little bit, and I like just throwing those long Anheuser turnover shots that I know won't come back, because it's been really hard to find a disc that's so understable that I can either throw it flat or on a slight Anheuser and I know it won't fade, and this is that disc that does that for me. And I have thrown some of my best shots with this disc right here, and it's definitely great for scrambling in the woods when I need to throw that backhand turnover because I don't have a forehand to rely on. So, one of my favorites. The memories this disc brings me. This is my Lucid Maverick, and if we're being honest, I don't throw it a whole lot anymore. It used to have the job of the Sting, but it's kind of been taken over. This was the disc I got my first ace with back in 2021 at the Women's Open of PA for the first year. It was hole 11 at Klein's Run, which sucks because I didn't get to see it, but at the same time I'm not going to complain about an ace. So it probably shouldn't be in the bag still. I don't know when the last time I threw it was, but something about that sentimental disc, I just can't take it out. Alright, I only got a few more left here to go, but this is another disc like the Thunderbird I've been relying on a lot recently, is my T-Bird 3. This I kind of use for the same sort of job as the Thunderbird, but this one's a little less stable, goes a little bit further with a good bit of fade, more fade than the Passion does for me. So I like throwing it on hyzer sometimes. This is what I have transitioned into throwing on hole 4 at Book. I've thrown on a little bit of hyzer, maybe give it a little bit of height on that hole, and it should just do the job, because part of my difficulties with hole 4 is I need something that fades enough but also goes the distance, which has been super hard to find a disc for that, but I think the T-Bird 3 is the one. This next disc, like I mentioned before, lost my max distance driver, so this was another one I was playing around with. It is the Infinite Discs Maya. It's 165. I really like it. It's super understable, so I'm able to throw it on that hyzer and get to flip up the flat and turn and get that nice hyzer flip shape, which is something I used to not be able to do. I still work in progress on throwing hyzers, but this is one I've been playing around with. Not super confident with it yet, but I can definitely see it becoming a staple in my bag. This disc is more so a utility disc for me. It is the Dynamic Discs Felon, one of the prettiest discs I feel from the first North Gods Championship, but mainly a utility disc when I need something to hard fade left as much as I can possibly get. Need to throw a skip shot or anything like that. Most of the times I try and attempt to throw it on hole 3 at Fairview, I believe it is, when I'm trying to get close to the basket. But really, really like this disc, and it has definitely gotten me out of some trouble. And the last disc in my bag, this is a new addition, and I immediately fell in love with it. I played one of the Cadorus parks, I think it was Cadorus Township, with a bunch of the mid-10 ladies, and Jess Kennard gave me this Falk to throw, and it was almost immediately I fell in love with it. I just love how it flies. I think it has taken over the spot in my bag of that max distance driver. I really like it, and really just rip on it with that little bit of anhyzer, or even flat, and it'll turn over a little bit for me but still fade back, and I am in love with the way that this thing flies. So luckily Jess let me borrow it for a little bit until I get one of my own, but definitely love this disc a lot. Alright, and I think that's about all the discs. Seemed like more than it should be, but you know, I mean, really, I have all those discs in my bag. I don't use quite all of them. I definitely have the few that I gravitate towards for certain shots and such, but I also like playing around with stuff and throwing different things. So,
is there anything else in your bag? Towels?
In my bag, what else do I have? Currently, I have a Tiger Lily disc golf. I forget exactly what the tournament name was, but I played a women's event down in Virginia. Well, I know this might sound biased, but it's not. My favorite towel I've currently been using, because I always find towels hard to find with, like, do I want one that's more so going to get the dirt off, that but absorbs water and all that, and my current favorite towel that I've been using is the ones from this year's North Scotch Championship. This one's a little dirty, but I don't know where the other one is. I think it's in the wash, but I have 2 of these, and that's what I've been bagging to keep my discs nice and clean and dry throughout the season. Yeah. And I also have one that's fairly similar, but I still haven't used, and that was my one from Junior Worlds this year. So this one feels pretty similar, but I more so use it as a backup in case I need it for those rainy rounds, like it would have been today had I played. Alrighty, and I think that about sums it up for my in the bag. I hope you guys all like it, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much. But yeah, make sure to sign up for those women's events and any other Norse Gods events, and we'll see you all next time.